Werewolf Rampages through New York City, they say the city never sleeps. But that night, the city screamed. It began insidiously, as all true nightmares do. A spine-chilling howl, unlike any dog's, echoed from the labyrinthine alleyways of the Lower East Side, almost instantly swallowed up by the relentless urban noise. Most dismissed it as the wind, or a trick of their tired minds. They were wrong. Detective Miles Corbin, a man whose career was built on the grim realities of human degeneration, found himself staring at something far more primitive. The first victim was a homeless man found mutilated in a deserted lot, his throat slit with unnatural precision. The coroner, a seasoned veteran who had seen it all, had no explanation for the claw marks that laced the concrete, nor for the inexplicable animal fury etched in the victim's final expression. Then came the reports, scattered at first, then a terrifying climax. A young couple attacked in Central Park, their picnic turned into a bloodbath. A lone subway passenger mutilated on a deserted platform. Each incident bore the same deadly hallmarks: brutal efficiency, impossible strength, and the lingering smell of something monstrous, something ancient. Corbin felt a cold dread settle in his gut. He had dismissed the old tales, the whispers of cryptids and creatures of the night, as mere fantasy. But the evidence piling up on his desk was anything but, for samples not human. Prints too large, too strong to be any known animal, and the moon, always a full moon. Terror truly gripped New York on the third night of the full moon. A live news broadcast from Times Square captured it. The reporter reporting on alien attacks suddenly screamed. The camera whipped around, catching a glimpse of a towering, shadowy figure, all sinew and fur, tearing through the crowds of tourists. Panic erupted, a tidal wave of humanity scattering like leaves in a hurricane. The creature, eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence, let out a guttural roar that vibrated through the pavement itself. This was no ordinary animal. This was a nightmare incarnate. Watching from the station, Corbin felt the blood drain from his face. This wasn't just a case anymore, it was an innocent extinction event. He knew, with icy certainty, that this monster wasn't hunting, it was playing. The werewolf moved, because it shouldn't have to, with terrifying speed and agility. It leapt across rooftops, its shadow momentarily blocking the neon glow of billboards. It tore through storefronts, scattering glass and terror in its wake. The sounds of its rampage were a symphony of screams, shattering glass, and spine-chilling snarls. Police units, outnumbered and outgunned, found their bullets doing little more than infuriate the beast. Cars were tossed aside like toys, the creature seemingly enjoying the chaos it caused. Armed with a little intuition and desperate prayer, Corbin remembered an ancient, mysterious folklore text his grandmother used to recite: silver. Pure silver was the only thing that could stop a creature of this kind. He raced against time, against the mounting body count, against the growing realization that New York City had become a hunting ground. He found himself facing the monster in the echoing grandeur of Grand Central Station. The main concourse was a scene of utter devastation. Overturned booths, smashed seats, and the lingering stench of fear. The werewolf, its fur blooded, its eyes burning with unholy hunger, turned to attention. It was enormous, easily twice the size of a man, its claws dripping with fresh terror. Shaking but determined, Corbin raised his service weapon, but it wasn't just bullets he loaded. Each bullet, carefully, desperately, was coated in silver. The creature lunged, a blur of teeth and claws. Corbin fired. The first shot struck its shoulder, eliciting a roar of pain, a sound that was less animalistic and more humanly tortured. The second struck its chest. The beast stumbled, a horrified wail echoing through the station. The third and final shot found its mark directly in the monstrous creature's heart. The werewolf convulsed, its powerful frame collapsing onto the polished marble floor. A horrifying, guttural gurgle escaped its throat, and then, with a final, shuddering breath, it began to change. Fur receded, muscles tensed, bones shifted in sickening cracks. Before Corbin's horrified eyes, the monstrous form began to shrink, twist, and become painfully human. What stood before him, naked and broken, was not a monster. It was a man, a face etched with a lifetime of unimaginable torment. A face Corbin recognized. It was a respected historian, Dr. Alistair Finch, a man known for his calm demeanor and his fascination with ancient curses. The silence that followed was more deafening than any scream. The nightmare was over, but the city would never forget the night the werewolf attacked New York City. And Detective Miles Corbin, who had once rejected the fantastic, now knew that some horrors lurk not in the shadows, but within the very fabric of humanity, waiting for the moon to rise. A week after the horrific incident, New York City was slowly recovering. However, there was a palpable anxiety in the air. People weren't sure what they had really seen, but they knew it was something horrific. Corbin was surrounded by reporters and media outlets, but he remained tight-lipped about the details. He knew that revealing the truth would lead to panic and chaos. Meanwhile, Corbin was struggling with his own internal struggles. He couldn't shake the image of Dr. Finch transforming into a werewolf. He knew Dr. Finch wasn't evil. He was the victim of an ancient curse. But that didn't make it any easier. Eventually, Corbin decided to dedicate his life to finding ways to prevent such incidents from happening again. He began researching ancient curses and hidden creatures. He knew there were more horrors out there, and he was determined to protect his city from them. On quiet nights, Corbin often found himself thinking about Dr. Finch's last words. Dr. Finch had whispered strange, unintelligible words, but Corbin had a feeling they held the key to something important. He began studying ancient languages in hopes of understanding what Dr. Finch had said. Months passed, and Corbin became increasingly immersed in his research. He spent hours in the library reading ancient books and reviewing manuscripts. He began to uncover a complex web of secret societies and ancient rituals. He realized that the werewolf was not just a mythical creature, it was part of a long and dark history. Corbin's research eventually led him to a secret society that had been protecting New York City from supernatural forces for centuries. The society's members were aware of the threat posed by the werewolf, but were unable to stop it. They revealed to Corbin that Dr. Finch had been a member of the society but had been cursed while attempting to obtain a powerful artifact. With the society's help, Corbin was able to trace the origin of the curse. He discovered that it originated in ancient times and was passed down through bloodlines. Corbin realized that if they couldn't break the curse, more werewolves would appear in New York City. With the society at his side, Corbin set out on a quest to find a way to break the curse. They traveled to distant parts of the world, collecting ancient artifacts and performing forbidden rituals. The journey was perilous, but Corbin was determined to protect his city. Eventually, they discovered a way to break the curse. It required sacrifice, but Corbin was willing to do anything to save New York City. They performed the ritual on the night of a full moon, and with the last spoken word, the curse was broken. New York City was safe again, but Corbin was forever changed. He had seen the horrors of the world and knew he could never return to his old life. He continued to work with the society, protecting New York City from supernatural forces. On quiet nights, Corbin often found himself thinking about Dr. Finch. He knew that Dr. Finch wasn't evil. He was the victim of an ancient curse, but Corbin also knew that he had to do what he did. He had to protect his city, even if it meant killing an innocent man. Corbin carried the burden of his actions for the rest of his life. But he never regretted his decision. He knew he had done the right thing. He had saved New York City from a fate worse than death.